Today on the Topping Show, Joe Rogan slams the Los Angeles Fire Department DEI initiatives. One of the Biden-Harris administration's last videos brags about how they brought diversity to the White House as their top priority. The Los Angeles fire personnel warned of a lack of resources weeks prior to the fire. Honda Civic wins the status of most stick shifts sold in 2025. The Aston Martin Vantage is now the quickest convertible for sale. And Cash App has fined $255 million. All of that and much more on the Topping Show. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of the Topping Show is proudly sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency in IT security. Heck, I see their founder at least twice a day. Gotta say he's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, you see, that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or business owner, you can reach out to the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also, we're still giving away a free flamethrower with every IT purchase. Yes, it does come with a fun Picatinny rail adapter. So if you choose to, you can mount it to any standard AR-15 like all awesome SRS series can be. Go to toppingtechnologies.com and click the flamethrower button to learn more, or click the URL in the video description below. Lastly, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you can click that button and tell your friends, I would greatly appreciate it. Now going over to the business part of the podcast, you have some good news. Honda Civic wins the contest of who sold the most stick shift in 2024. Ode to the Civic, SI, and Type R keeping the dream alive, as unfortunately Honda did kill that option on the entry-level Civics, but I partially digress. This comes to us thanks to Motor1.com. Pulling up here, now I can see the rear of the Type R, which, call me crazy, it's growing on me. Obviously, it's not as best as, every Civic I think looks better as a coupe, but unfortunately Honda did kill that option for the Jet 11. Now, this comes to us, again, thanks to Chris Perkins, who's a writer at Motor1.com, who says, quote, Honda Civic was the best-selling manual car in 2024. With nearly 17,500 sales, the Civic pipped out the Subaru WRX for the top spot, which does make me smile ear to ear. In particular, you see that white Honda Civic Type R in the picture right there, with this kind of comical 3-port exhaust when, yes, it only has 4 cylinders. Now, the only disappointing thing is, well, the colors are quite bland. There's like 5 different color options for this Honda Civic, and none of them are fun, energy green like my car, or I think they call the other one atomic yellow. Well, the colors aren't the best, but you can always wrap the car or, paint it aftermarket. Now, they say, quote, we spent the first couple of weeks in 2025 getting sales data on manual transmission cars sold in North America, United States specifically as well. That led us to some interesting findings, which we've been publishing on this fine website. We don't have take rate figures for every single manual car sold last year, because people like Ford didn't want us to tell us, because try to look at the Mustang, which thank God still has a stick shift option, but they didn't give us the actual rate at which people are buying Mustangs with the stick shift. Should be darn near 100%, but unfortunately it is not. Now, they say that we do have crown winner, the Honda Civic. And here you see the nice little shift knob right there, which also you can tell, it's the nice Honda Civic Type R, because it's got that extra performance button, which actuates a bunch of fun, cool things, as well as the steering wheel. They also say, quote, the manual take rate for the Civic in 2024 was 7.2%, or 17,424 cars out of 242,005 cars for the model. Remarkably, it comes as Honda pares back its manual transmission Civic offerings, which again, the entry-level Civics no longer come with that option, so that stinks, because obviously the SI is a little more expensive, and then the Type R is, I would say, comically expensive. It's like starts at $45,000 base. And then, of course, you have the dealer extortion fee, which my local dealership wants $10,000 on top of that for the market adjustment. Then you have the extortion, I mean the sales tax associated with that. Texas, I believe, is 6.25 for car registration of new vehicles. And before you know it, might as well get a Porsche at that price point. So I always tell folks, if you can get an MSRP or a little bit lower, then I think that's where you see a lot of value with it, well, especially the SI, and then debatably with the Type R. Now, you see that if you want 3 pedals, you'll have to pony up for the SI or Type R. Despite that, the Civic proved to be the best-selling manual car in the US last year, based on our data. If you add the 4,831 manual sales to the Acura Integra, which, again, is just the Honda Civic Type R with some extra leather and accoutrements, very similar to how General Motors has Chevrolet and Cadillac, which mechanically they say is the same as the Civic, because it is. That figure jumps to 22,255 units. It's not that many cars, but given the grand scheme of things, but I'm betting more than you have guessed. Here they show you actually the take rate for the top selling vehicles in terms of the ones that came with the manual transmission. Subaru WRX was close behind at 16,155 units. Then it drops like a cliff, unfortunately. The third place is Volkswagen Golf's GTI/R, which is 6,000 units. And yeah, how's Porsche not in the top one? Granted, I guess that's a very much low volume, high value, or high cost vehicle. So I guess it should be too surprised the 911 isn't on there. But it does make me smile ear to ear that the Civic is still one of the best bangs for your buck out there. Again, especially if you get the SI. It's disappointing that there's only the 4-door option. Now, if you want a great bang for your buck, if you want to go used, which, again, if you want more manual transmissions, you need to tell your manufacturers you want them by buying new vehicles if you physically can. I know cars are very expensive and times are tough. I mean, I got my car new, what was it, 6 or 7 years ago when the Gen 10 Civics were out. And yeah, I love it. But the best way to show the manufacturers that there's still demand for stick shifts is buying it new, because, again, used does not really communicate anything to the manufacturer, with the exception of perhaps certified pre-owned. But even then, I don't think they can take that into their projections for, how they're going to plan the next models and next options for the vehicle lineup. And again, in terms of consumables, I love taking my Honda Civic SI to the track. The rotors aren't too terribly expensive if you buy them online. Same with the brake pads, the consumables being, the things that wear out the most if you're taking out the track. And yeah, it's been overall pretty reliable. I love my Gen 10. If I had copious amounts of cash, I might get the Gen 11 Type R. The SI looks a little too bland aesthetically for me. Again, that 10,000 plus jump going from the SI to the Type R. Not sure how much you can really justify it. You get a bigger engine, but yeah, definitely excited to see that there's still stick shifts out there. And I was surprised that by volume of units, I thought Subaru was going to take the crown. Again, it was close. Honda Civic came in at 17,424 units, while the Subaru WRX was at 16,115 units. That being said, the Subaru WRX is really known for the STI model, which is the top trim. Now, they just announced the STI with automatic only, which, of course, is an abomination to the Subaru brand and the whole enthusiast platform and enthusiast demand for it. I think they'll see such a visceral reaction of the small sample size. I believe they're making 500 of those. Very similar to the Subaru, or rather the Toyota Supra, where everyone said we want a stick shift and they finally acquiesced and gave the customer what they wanted. I think if the Subaru WRX STI comes with the third pedal, like they used to back in the good old days, then I think they will have a chance of actually beating Honda in terms of total number of units sold. And again, I do love Subaru in terms of, look at that take rate. The Honda Civic take rate was 7.2%. Of all the Civics sold, 7.2% were stick shift. Subaru, of all the Subaru WRXs that are sold, 86.7% were stick shift, which that just makes me smile ear to ear, even more than Mazda Miata, which is perhaps the most iconic track toy out there and the most iconic stick shift vehicles out there. So yeah, Subaru, let me know in the comments. Do you think Subaru, now that they have the STI, maybe they'll get, if that does get a third pedal, will that pass Honda Civic for the greatest number of units sold that have 3 pedals? And let me know, do you have me on transmission? Am I one of the few old souls out there who still wants one and will only ever buy and own stick shift vehicles? Let me know your thoughts, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting business news, you have the 2026 Aston Martin Vantage Roadster to be the quickest convertible on sale. Now, this comes with us thanks to Chris, who's a writer at thedrive.com, in which they say, quote, 2026 Aston Martin Vantage Roadster has the quickest folding convertible top on sale. The Vantage Roadster can get from 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds, but the real accomplishment is when you're going from closed to open in 8 or 6.8 seconds, which, I've never been a big fan of convertibles. They're becoming more and more rare these days. Very few brands are actually manufacturing them anymore, but it doesn't look too bad in the picture right there. I think it's a little disappointing because I'm pretty sure it's just a V8 made by Mercedes, which, Mercedes makes great stuff, but when I think Aston Martin, I think handcrafted, really a work of art V12 with a stick shift. And spoiler alert, even though this is a moderately good commercial advertisement or announcement, it's an automatic only, which is a little disappointing, or at least the one pictured is. Now they say, quote, Aston Martin has unveiled a new Vantage Roadster, the convertible version of its quote-unquote entry-level sports car that aims to deliver open-air motoring that's just as sharp as the athletic fixed-roof sibling. The Vantage Roadster is 132 pounds heavier than the coupe thanks to the folding soft top that can open and close in 6.8 seconds, making it what Aston Martin claims to be the quickest electric folding convertible roof on sale today. It can do this thanks to the speeds, at speeds up to 31 miles per hour. Like the coupe, the Vantage Roadster uses the 4-liter twin-turbo AMG V8, making 656 horsepower and 590 foot-pound of torque, 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds, and top speed of 202 miles per hour, which, in terms of photos, it looks damn beautiful in these mountains right here. We can actually maximize that on the screen a little bit. And rim's not too shabby, but it's got the iconic grille in the front, all the curves that you come to expect from the Aston brand. And yeah, it's an AMG, so it's still hand built, but it's not. And yes, they've had V8 platform or powertrains for Aston Martin for decades, but I don't know. To me, they should just all have the V12 by default with a stick shift, which is a very rare thing in automotive these days. I mean, you're talking about a fraction of vehicles out there even have that option and the take rate. Now, they say that, quote, to compensate for the extra shifted weight, the Roadster gets structural and suspension tweaks, including recalibrated rear damper software and retuned transmission mounts. Aston also says it engineered alongside the coupe rather than after it. Weight optimized shear panels were strategically added to make up for the inherent rigid defect that comes from removing the roof. The Z top folds itself within 8 levels of insulation, which makes it allegedly almost as quiet as a coupe. A long while rollover protection was formed by casting an extrusion to keep it robust and light, which this almost looks like a PlayStation 2 commercial or a cutscene, but we'll play the video really quick. It's really disappointing because it's got to be a spot. But, I'm sorry, there's a pretty beautiful exhaust note. Let me rewind that for there. This is a little disappointing. I know this is a global commercial. It's not just for North America, though obviously the United States is the coolest market, bar none. But it's a little disappointing. They have this helicopter following it with, was it like a basket next to it? I mean, this thing is famous in most part thanks to James Bond, let's be honest. The fact that they don't have the helicopter trying to shoot this thing out of the road using missiles and it's diving back and forth, that seems like a lost opportunity. It'd be infinitely more exciting if that were to happen, especially if they had the pop-out machine guns from the car, though. I mean, that'd be even cute if they had a disclaimer like, not with this accessory not available yet, something like that. That was so disappointing. There's something boring about paddle shifting and like it's supposed to be action scenes. It's so boring and anemic. They just did a close up of the center console where you can see the little pathetic little pseudo shift knob for the. It's obviously automatic. It almost looks like the Porsche little stubby little stick knob that you use to switch from drive to reverse to park. Now, I did laugh because one of the last things it said on text on screen says, engineered for real drivers, which, yeah, I've been going to a track for many years. And again, granted, small anecdotal evidence. I only go to a couple tracks in the South, usually Texas. And I don't think I've ever seen an Aston Martin there. I've seen pretty much every other major manufacturer of sports car there. I mean, but you really, I know they have a couple models where they pretend to be like track cars, and that did have massive carbon ceramic brakes that admittedly do cost more than my whole Honda Civic combined. But yeah, I think it's kind of funny they say engineered for real drivers, and they're kind of emphasizing that over the handcrafted. Well, it's handcrafted, but it's AMG. It's not their engine, but they also say or end the commercial with intensely driven, which 10 of them probably are out of the whole that are actually sold. And granted, their sales are doing pretty good. I've seen more Aston Martins in DFW in the past 2 years than probably 7 years combined. Like, they're getting more and more popular. Now, zooming in a couple of these photos here. Now, I do appreciate the fact that they have physical buttons on the center console. So if you actually want to heat your seat, you don't have to go into the menu and click 20 different things on the touchpad. Then they do have the touchpad. It looks like they can get, it's the thing where you can mirror your smartphone on it, so you can get the nice GPS. Perhaps I would argue one of the only few valuable things I appreciate in terms of modern automobile technologies that's been adopted in the past couple of years. And yeah, I mean, it looks pretty cool. But yeah, I wonder how many of those sell in terms of commercials are. I was gonna say convertibles aren't very popular. Yeah, look at that boring little dinky. It looks just like the Porsche PDK transmission where it's automatic and you have a little selector knob. Which, yeah, gosh, there's something so boring about that. I know a majority of consumers in the world prefer automatic transmissions. I like to think they're dead inside. They just never try to stick shift, because if they did, they'd never want to stop. It's the best experience in a vehicle you'll have, bar none. Well, the best legal experience you'll have in a vehicle, bar none. But yeah, there's something disappointing about me when I walk past a fancy sports car. It's got an automatic. I know it's fast on the track and yada, 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 but you can't beat that experience of downshifting into a corner. I mean, it looks like the seats are pretty nice. You got carbon fiber everywhere, sleek design. And it is also funny. It's convertible. It's in a mountain with lots of snow everywhere. So we'll see how warm you really are. But overall, pretty impressive reveal. I'm sure they'll sell a couple more units. Now, go to the comment section. Not too many likes or ups or nothing there. You just have David Samaro saying Aston Martin makes some of the most beautiful, sexiest cars in the world, which, yeah, they do. They always look great when they're running. Gustav says, manufacturers take note. This is how you integrate a screen to the dash and have a functional button, which, yes, I do appreciate that. I got one like. There's nothing worse looking at you, Stellantis, Dodge, Chrysler, where you have all the things you want the most frequent things should never be in the touchscreen. Talking about, heated seats, cooled seats, changing the thing I hate most about my Civic Si is there's no actual manual knob for the radio, or more accurately, the podcast machine for the speaker systems. You have to do the little slider, or more realistically, what I do is use the clicker button that's on the steering wheel. But yeah, there's some things that should always just be a manual button on the vehicle. And again, it looks breathtaking. A little disappointed that it wasn't, swerving around trying to dodge missiles like a James Bond film. But let me know, do you think this will be wildly successful? I mean, do you think what do you think the take rate will be for the actual convertible option? Will it be, do you think about 50% of people who want this will get in a convertible, or do you think about 5%? Let me know your thoughts, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Going over to the Cultural Abroad podcast, you have Joe Rogan slamming the Los Angeles Fire Department DEI initiatives. Now, this comes to us thanks to End Wokeness on X, in which he says, quote, Rogan slams LAFD focusing on DEI. It's like about a minute, 20 seconds long. See here.
You need people that know how to solve problems.
Yeah. But also, you
can't have some overweight lesbian that says that if you're trapped in the building, you already made a mistake.
She said that.
Already fucked up. If you need me to carry you.
Is that what
she says he wouldn't carry him. Hopefully they play the clip.
Really what she said?
You want to hear it?
Yeah. I do.
Yeah.
Let me hear it.
Jimmy, you could probably find it, right?
Just so you can outrage me and give me more energy.
I certainly have it in here. I know I can find it if you just give me a moment. It's so ridiculous. You hear her say it, you're like, what are you even saying? Here it is. I found it.
It's not AI, right?
No. Here, Jamie.
This AI shit's getting crazy. I've had to call you and ask you. I called you. I was like, is this AI?
It's really hard to
no,
tell. Here, headphones on again, because you're going to have to hear it because it's so crazy.
California.
It's so ridiculous.
Your emergency, whether it's a medical call or a fire call, that looks like you. It gives that person a little bit more ease, knowing that somebody might understand their situation better. Is she strong enough to do this? Or you couldn't carry my husband out of a fire, which my response is, he got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a fire.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's helpful.
That is such a crazy way to look at things.
That's California for you, though. Maybe they'll be less. Maybe their insanity will fade away someday. Or they'll just lean into the meme or lean into their insanity. They probably will. Now, this thing goes as far as I thought, but it's looking at about 337,000 views and 14,000 likes. Well, the first comments being a meme from anti-woke memes, which A+ for marketing, they did in fact respond in meme form, saying, quote, Joe Rogan is right about DEI. There's a picture of the 3 gals leading the fire department over there. Okay, and are paid between $380 and nearly $423,000 per year, which is insane. And it has the 3 gals dressed up. But again, is it Karen or Kel? They all have the same name. They're all women that are also lesbian. Coincidence, I'm sure. I'm sure they took all the resumes and hired the best of the best. I'm joking. That's statistically impossible to have all of them, especially with the same name too. Now it says 0% contained, 100% DEI, and they're all standing in front of a fire, getting 71 likes. Paul Zupa says, quote, DEI is deadly. We've seen what it now does in California, getting 22 likes. Gunther Eagleman says, quote, Rogan is spot on. DEI is costing lives, getting 189 likes. That's a based electrician says, quote, these fires ain't going to put out themselves. There's a gal with a fireman or fire gal now dressed up, but the fire hose is shooting a rainbow instead of water, which is especially funny and sad when you consider they're so bad at planning and management in California, they forgot to have water. There's no water with hydrants. That's how inept the leadership is in California. They forgot you need water to fight fires. The reservoirs were partially not built, and partially not filled, and some not filled at all. I can't wonder if it was planned, or they're just woefully inept, or maybe little column A, little column B. Now you also have Libercat Media TM saying, quote, this is the way. It's a picture just saying DEI, must DIE, getting 19 likes. Well, Christian Engineer, Krill Christian Engineer, rather, says, quote, they will cry again. It's the, what is it? I forget what you call the meme or the video decades ago. It was the Leave Billy Alone. And it's that kid crying and says, leave the lesbian fire chief alone, getting 8 likes. Anti-left meme says DEI is not our strength. You have a clearly based, he's biceps bigger than most people's thighs. You got that big sniper guy. And it says before DEI, they have after DEI, you have the Secret Service agent gal who looks like Shane Gillis, getting 65 likes, which, yeah, the gal who cowered behind Trump getting shot and couldn't holster a pistol. That's who they're hiring at the Secret Service. Yeah, Liberty Pill meme saying, quote, this is what DEI does. This is Jim from The Office with the whiteboard meme. He says, this is your neighborhood before DEI, and LA before. Then after it, it's all burnt to a crisp, getting 65 likes. I also have May saying, Gavin Newsom has been focused on 2028 since he won re-election in 2022, traveling, campaigning, working on his image. He focused on fire prevention in 2019 after the 2018 fires, but this was it. He should own this, getting 79 likes, which, no, he'll probably give himself a raise, knowing most Democrats. America AF says, based Rogan, getting 31 likes. Also I have Eric Paisley saying, quote, that was one of the most outrageous statements ever heard, first from a responder make. Also, he's telling that the LAFD left that in the video. Yeah, getting 16 likes. Well, I mean, obviously they left it in the video. It's their core focus. It's what they're striving for, which is horrifying to say the least. Brian Kennedy says, quote, they really said that. And it's a screenshot of that gal. And yeah, it's the text saying he got himself the wrong place, getting 14 likes, which, I mean, yeah, in this case, maybe you do need pronouns because, yeah, it definitely looks like almost like a guy. Got 14 likes for that. Yeah, trendy stuff saying DEI and some Babylon Bee articles saying push for diversity, military canine units to give equal opportunities to Chihuahuas. Getting 20 likes, which, yeah. See, no contrarian comments thus far. Let's see. Isaac says, that was not even the most disrespectful part of the lesbian firefighter. She gets paid almost $400,000 per year in taxpayer funds, and she doesn't even tell you she'll do her job. Getting 23 likes, which, yeah, that's ridiculous. People wonder why California is always bankrupt. One of the most corrupt, inept run states of the union, bar none. America Sublime says they need to be held accountable, and the Hollywood sign has been relabeled to Democrats did this, getting 27 likes. Yeah, not seeing any contrarian statements here. As youth might say, Joe Rogan seems becoming more and more based. Well, I don't know I mean, he's so popular already, I doubt he loses any subscribers, but yeah, it's fascinating. I think 18 people think that California, well, Bill Burr actually famously thinks that California is doing a good job and it's not at all mismanaged. But let me know, what do you think? Do you think California is being mismanaged, or do you think, here. Oh, good old technical difficulties. See if I can fix that in a New York minute here. Do you think California is actually being mismanaged? Is that why it's happening? Or is it just all coincidence? They're all doing their best. They're great, really respectable, really, really great employees. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Oh. Oopsies. Let's see if I can reset that really quick. Nope, not at all. Well, I was going to say, gotta love a night. Never be too upset when IT fails, because if it worked perfectly all the time, I wouldn't have an IT job. But let me know in the comments, because it's always be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Oh, now going over to the political part podcast, you have the Biden White House bragging about diversity being one of their top priorities when they're in office, as they reflect on what they accomplished, or rather, more realistically, what they didn't. Now, this comes to us thanks to End Wokeness, who says, quote, "The White House just released this video bragging about how they made diversity, inclusion, and equity their top priority." There, there she is there.
I always start crying when I talk about this. So, President Biden promised that he would have a cabinet that looks like America, and he did.
We're talking about this incredible, full-throated commitment to equity.
There's more women of color, more people on the cabinet with perspectives that have never been around a decision-making table before.
And it worked out great.
I'm the member of President Biden's cabinet, his budget director, and I'm the first black woman to do it.
Record inflation and record spending, well, I don't think I would brag about that.
With diversity comes different views, different perspectives, and better decision making.
Absolutely. I mean, the diversity of thought, yes. But it was just a groupthink. Everyone that they recruited was pretty much just of the same ideology. It wasn't actually diversity of thought or opinion, which I do believe is important.
Is happening with this administration under the leadership of this president is historic in so many ways.
I am so proud to be the first Native American to serve on the president's cabinet. Welcome to the Department of the Interior. And I hope that my perspective has helped the president to make the decisions that he knows will better our country.
He's led from the front, and
Okay. Let me know in the comments. Can you name what's one decision Biden made that made our country better in any metric? I mean, he avoided one strike by giving the union on the train everything it wanted, which was really good because it increased the cost of goods sold, but did avoid the strike. But can you name like 2 or 3 bullet points of like decisions he made that you thought, that's, you know what, good call? I think that was right. That was a good call. Yeah, I don't think so.
it's been really a privilege to serve in his administration and trying to make the dream of America real to as many people as possible.
Yeah, they didn't say, this is the best person in the field, it's the most competent, this is the best, whatever category you want to choose, this is the best scientist, best economic advisor. No, they chose diversity. Not a thought. Now, pretty valid. Got about 250,000 views and 2.6 thousand likes. The first comments comes from someone who, well, a little biased, think he's handsome and brilliant. Me, hashtag the Topping Show, saying, quote, "I mean, the American people sure as hell weren't one of their top priorities." Getting 4 likes. Hashtag true. Paul Zupa says, quote, "The people were so low IQ, they got obliterated in the election because they prioritized DEI and now continue to celebrate it." Getting 92 likes, which, yeah. And again, many polls have been asking people, why didn't you vote Democrat? A lot of them said the Democrats cared more about DEI than fixing the economy or securing our country. And clearly, obviously, this further proves the point. You have thick eggshell saying, quote, "This isn't what America looks like, it's just what your liberal ideas twisted looks like." You have Pete Buttigieg with an artificial breast trying to feed a child. That's a creepy loser who took 6 months off his job and no one realized he was gone. He's supposed to be in charge of transportation when you had trains colliding left and right. You also have, Secretary of Defense, that's the man who transitioned to a gal. You have the bald man who stole women's dresses and stole women's clothing from the airport like 4 or 5 times. That creepy one. Yeah. I got 34, so I get 35 likes. I also have Gunther Eagleman saying, quote, "And then November 5th happened, getting 265 likes." Yep, you'd think they learned. America Papa Bear says, quote, "Keep running this mentality, you'll never win another election again," getting 82 likes, which, no, if they got rid of federal ID, if no states had voter ID for the presidential election, then they probably would win again. Fascinating how Kamala Harris, of the, 13 of the 15 states she won, did not require voter ID. A fascinating coincidence. You also have Democrat media TM say, quote, in other words, this was the White House's top priority. And DEI for them is broken down in this picture saying, quote, diversity means fear of white people. Inclusion means exclusion of white people. Equity means stealing from white people. Getting 59 likes. Wall Street News says, where? LOL, getting 22 likes. Cool Christian Engineer says, the boss is coming back as Trump standing in front of DC, getting 33 likes, going up like an NVIDIA stock. Cool Christian Engineer also says, what is it with male Democrats always wanting full throats? Yeah, that was one of the creepiest things. He said a full-throated commitment to equity, which, yeah, I mean, and he wasn't trying to make a pun either. He had a straight face. Weird. Getting 4 likes. Also have World Hall of Fun saying representing 1% of the population is certainly not diverse. It's a freak show. There's a picture of all the compilations we've seen, the Democrat having sex in DC, video in the chambers. You have the people dressing up in all the purple blue dye hair, which I can't wonder how much of those monies are making. The hair dye industry is making, I mean, they must be printing money at this point. You got 65 likes. Eggsworth has the meme of this, what was this, Toy Story? We got Buzz Lightyear talking to Woody. Says, communists everywhere. Getting 4 likes. Let's see. Any contrarian statements here? David Sullivan, pronouns prosecute Fauci, says, quote, the Biden administration was one of the worst in history in the United States since the video of Garrison from South Park with the little machine he makes it. What was it? The little bicycle thing? Getting 11 likes. Tucker Carlson News Network says, quote, do they not realize they lost the election because Americans were overwhelmingly opposed to DEI, getting 120 likes, which, yeah, they're like the worst when it comes to reading the room. I mean, even most major businesses are also pivoting away from that controversial subject. Everyone from Walmart to who else? Walmart, McDonald's, I mean, Tractor Supply. All these companies are pivoting away from it. Let's see. A couple of memes of Los Angeles burning. With DEI, they claim being one of the biggest contributing factors. Mismanagement. Let's see. And not too many contrarian statements here. And again, it's funny that they didn't end they didn't go out with a big bang. Biden had so many accomplishments. Like, here's 5 bullet points of what he did that really helped the average American. That'd be a fascinating meme or news post. I mean, I can't name 5, but could you? Yeah, what are 5 bullet points or 5 things that Biden accomplished in his tenure? Record inflation, printed more money than ever before. Yeah. I don't think there's any positive. Let's see. Yeah, I can't think of any really positive contributions, but let me know the thoughts in the comments because, as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting political news, you have the Los Angeles fire personnel warning of a lack of resources weeks before the fire broke out. Now, this comes to us thanks to Libs of TikTok, in which she said, quote, less than a month before California fires broke out, Los Angeles fire personnel showed up en masse to the Los Angeles Fire Commission meeting, warning that the budget cuts could lead to major consequences and people would die. This comes to us thanks to Libs TikTok and CNN Business. CNN, they're still in business somehow. That's a statistical outlier. I'm pretty sure they have 12 employees left after all the cuts. Without too much further ado.
If we cut one position, if we close one station, if we close one resource, the residents of Los Angeles are going to pay the ultimate sacrifice, and someone will die.
Just last month, fire personnel packed an LA Fire Commission meeting, begging the city to rethink the budget.
These cuts came at exactly the wrong time, with calls for services at an all-time high and our firefighters at their breaking point.
We are straining our department's resources beyond the brink, and we cannot continue on this path.
City Councilwoman Tracy Park was there, too.
If only their hair were blue or pink, they would have probably listened to them. But unfortunately, they were not. There's the fire chief Gallup makes, what is it, $430,000 per year? Yeah. 400 grand per year. That's insanity. And my really thought got 826,000 views and 18,000 likes. One of the first comments coming from Gunther Eagleman. He said, quote, time for the people to be held accountable. Bass and Newsom should both resign, getting 676 likes, which, yeah, no, I mean, let's be honest. Leftists usually are the antithesis of taking accountability or, working hard. So, yeah, if anything, their ratings will probably just go up because, again, you also have people who will, quote, vote blue no matter who, which is mentally vacuous to say the least. Paul Zupa also said, How much more evidence do you need before LA Mayor Karen Bass resigns, getting 122 likes? Wall Street Maverick says people need to resign, getting 162 likes. David Sullivan, pronouns prosecute Fauci, says, quote, should be a prison sentence is an AI-generated picture of Gavin Newsom as well as Bass in jail, getting 52 likes. Cool Christian Engineer says these people need to be held accountable, getting 5 likes. Let's see. Wayne Dunlap has a screenshot of an article from, is this LA Times? No, dailymail.com, which it says, quote, leaked memo reveals LA Mayor Karen Bass demanded her fire department cut an additional $49 million 1 week before the wildfires broke out. They got 19 likes, which, yep. Coffee with Cream, spelled with a K, oddly enough, has a picture of Smokey, where's Smokey the Bear? I haven't seen him in a while. It's Smokey the Bear. He has a sign that says, well, I'll attempt his accent. It's been a couple of years. Remember, only you can prevent liberal policies from causing wildfires. Getting 61 likes. Not my impression, but, specific post there. You also have Turn Massachusetts Red saying, oopsie, it's a gravestone that says Karen Bass' political career. And got 12 likes, which, Redo to you, unique name, says, quote, we deserve better. It's Bass and Newsom says Democrat policies devastate results, getting 33 likes, which, again, I doubt if I have any ramifications on them politically speaking. I mean, again, they're Democrats in California, and they don't really, the counties voted differently in California when you look at the recent presidential election results. But if you look at the cities, they'll overwhelmingly vote blue no matter who. It's quite sad. Let's see, there's in-country statements here. You have Brooks saying, it's like they knew Gavin Newsom failed America, getting 41 likes. Proud American says they were right about that. Politicians who didn't listen to their own fire department are not politicians we want, getting 30 likes. Let's see here. Any contrarian statements? Not really. MAGA's The Fix says Newsom as all his progressive Democrats caused all these tragedies. California voters need to wake up, getting 9 likes. Let's see here. Someone's talking about BlackRock maybe taking over the property. A lot of speculation on who's going to swoop in and buy all these empty lots now and what are they going to build. Will be a smart city where the government controls everything. But yeah, it looks like, and again, if only they had purple or blue hair, maybe the committee would have listened to them. But yeah, the hubris of not listening to the people who have foot on the ground and actually knows what's going on is not very smart political move, and we'll see if it actually costs them anything at the end of the day. But let me know, do you think there'll be any political ramifications? Will they be primaried, or will they be attempting to recall them? Let me know, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. And going over to the business blunder of the day, you have Cash App block fined $255 million, which is quite a few to say the least. This comes to us thanks to Mia, who's a writer over at The Verge, and they say, quote, Cash App fined $255 million in back-to-back settlements. Money transferring app owned by Jack Dorsey's Block Inc. is accused of fraud by proliferating the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Only they worked for the government, they would have gotten they probably would have gotten a raise if they were doing it, but no, they're the private sector, so they must be punished. I'm only partially kidding. I'm sure our government is not corrupt at all. It's all upstanding work that they do over there. Now they say, quote, Cash App is closing out this week on hook for $255 million in multiple settlements around the consumer protections. Block, the company that owns Cash App, agreed to pay $80 million to 48 states that fined the company for violating laws intended to keep illicit activity off the platform. That douchey picture of Jack Dorsey right there. Well, every picture of him is like that, not very specific. But they say, quote, state regulators found Block was not in compliance with certain requirements, creating the potential that its services could be used to support money laundering, financing terrorism, or other illegal activities, a press release from the Conference of State Bank Supervisors says. Separately, the Federal Consumer Financial Protection Bureau reached a settlement of Block in which the company agreed to pay $120 million to the Cash App customers and $55 million to the CFPB. According to the Bureau, Cash App's weak security measures put consumers at risk and made it difficult for users to get help after experiencing fraud on the platform. Cash App is also accused of tricking consumers into thinking that their bank, not Cash App, was responsible for handling the disputes, and that Cash App didn't offer, quote, meaningful and effective consumer services, which left the network vulnerable to criminals to defraud users. They say how to regulate peer-to-peer money transferring apps like Cash App is an ongoing fight. They also know that NetChoice and TechNet sued to challenge the CFPB's handling of such platforms like banks, calling it an unlawful power grab. Which, yeah, We'll see how much Trump tries to reel in the government or reel back regulations. But yeah, $255 million. And again, finance, especially, finance and auto were the two most highly regulated industries, bar none. The fact that, yeah, they weren't following all their, dotting their I's and crossing their T's. So now they have to pay $255 million. Yeah, I gotta say, Cash App and Blocks, that is certainly the business blunder of the day. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Again, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you can click that button, I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, and a comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.